Welcome to the Efficientpreneur Show with Ahmed Al-Karemli, where you learn how to build and scale your business profitability online with less time, effort, and cost, so you can enjoy a fulfilling lifestyle.
Hi everyone, AK here, and welcome to the Efficientpreneur Show. Today I have with me Rob Palmer. He is a copywriting expert, Amazon seller, and welcome to the show.
Hey, Ahmed, it's really great to be here, and thanks for inviting me. I'm really looking forward to getting involved.
Thank you. So how did you start as a copywriter? What's your story? What did you do before that?
Okay, so I started out originally as a journalist working in London back in the kind of early 90s, thereabouts. And I did journalism for a while, then I soon realized there was actually more money to be made in copywriting in the corporate world, so I switched over from journalism to advertising and started working with some of the big advertising agencies like Saatchi and various other big agencies, and for clients like Microsoft and IBM, Apple, and many of the big high-tech corporates.
How did you find, what's the difference in terms of working with those big corporations versus, the small internet marketers?
Well, there are some challenges, but on the whole, I much prefer it because, quite simply, they have the money, they have the budget to do things properly, whereas if you're working with a local client, like say a gym owner or someone like that, then obviously they've got a very limited budget for marketing. There's only so much you can reasonably charge them. Whereas these big companies, sometimes they have almost unlimited budget, which means that you can get paid properly for one thing, and also projects get done well, you get the high quality materials and results. So it all works very, very well. It can be frustrating working with big companies, the red tape and bureaucracy and everything else, but the benefits make it definitely the best way to go.
You started selling products on Amazon, ClickBanks. Tell us more about this experience, and how do you compare it with copywriting? Which one you enjoyed more?
Sure. Okay. So it was when I was copywriting back in the 90s that one of my clients was a telecom company that asked me to help them write some materials for a new project they had on this new thing called the internet, which nobody knew about at that time. And I find it really interesting, and I could see there was potential to do business using the internet. So I took a serious interest in that, and I started my own website. I was able to get some clients that way. And then as we got into the 21st century and companies like ClickBank came along, I started selling digital products on there originally and found that could be a very good business. And I also started working with Amazon back in the day when, long before they had what Amazon FBA is the program you would now use to sell physical products. Back in those days, they had a program called Z-Shops or Z-Shops, which was a very primitive version of Amazon FBA. So they closed it down after a year or two, but it gave me a chance to get my feet wet and learn how to sell physical products online.
Which one you enjoyed more? Which company you enjoyed working or selling on? This episode is brought to you by the Efficientpreneur Club. The Efficientpreneur Club is a private and affordable one-on-one business coaching club for business owners and entrepreneurs who want to build and scale their business profitability and performance with less time, effort, and cost, and without risking their freedom. So whether you are still figuring out the right business model, strategy, and pricing, or you need help to improve your funnels, ads, sales, and conversion, then the Efficientpreneur Club is for you. Your business challenges are not going to fix themselves unless you fix them today. And the consequences of not addressing that today is your business profitability and performance will not improve, and your relationships and health will continue to be affected. It's no wonder that building and scaling a business becomes so stressful over time, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Efficientpreneur Club will help you take your business to the next level with a private and affordable one-on-one coaching with me personally, tailored to your unique needs. I will help you clarify your direction, set a strategic action plan, and guide you step by step to build and scale your business efficiently. The Efficientpreneur Club will also provide access to an extensive how-to video library, the most highly recommended tools, and a supportive community of like-minded business owners to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement, and advice. The Efficientpreneur Club is the perfect place to be if you want to maximize your profits, minimize your workload, and scale your freedom and efficiency. So check it out at efficientpreneurclub.com and say bye-bye to generic courses, secretive gurus, and expensive mentors.
They're both very interesting and both very different. Digital products, that can happen very fast, and if you get a good product on ClickBank, it can sell in very good numbers, but it's difficult to get that product quite right. On Amazon, you've got a vast opportunity. There are so many products you can sell. It can be competitive, but you have different challenges then. All of a sudden, you have to worry about shipping times and inventory and cash flow and things like that. So the challenges are very different, but they're both very interesting.
How do you compare like eBay with Amazon from your experience? Most people confuse them.
Yeah, well, Amazon is just way ahead. I mean, if you look at the revenues now, eBay has been stuck on around 10 billion for many years, whereas Amazon has gone way past them to what they are, 240 billion in revenue. So that just shows there's no real comparison between the two. And what's really interesting is if you look at the revenue per user on Amazon, it's they make about $40 per user, whereas on eBay that is, whereas on Amazon it's more like $200 or something like that. So Amazon are just so much better at getting people to order products that I think it's much the better platform to work on.
How do you compare like selling on Shopify as well as a platform now, and how you are marketing though, like back in the days versus now, like while you're selling on ClickBank or Amazon, like you build a funnel now before what you were doing?
Yeah, well, really the game changer for things like Shopify and WooCommerce is Facebook ads. If you go back 10 years ago, before we had Facebook ads as we are now, it was very difficult to sell products directly from your own website. But now, thanks to Facebook ads and to some extent native advertising, there's a real platform where you can drive traffic to your store, and so yeah, you can do very well if you're good at what you do. You can make a lot of money with Shopify or WooCommerce. But again, if you look, it's hard in a way because you're trying to convert people who are on Facebook to chat to their friends and to get them to come over to your store and take an interest in what you have to sell and to buy it. Whereas on Amazon, by comparison, people are there to buy things. They're actually searching for products like you have. So making the sale is so much easier.
What is copywriting?
That's a good question. So the old-fashioned answer to that is salesmanship in print. But I think a better 21st century answer is it's the art of getting the right message to the right person at the right time. So it's not about trying to sell something that they don't want or don't need. It's about connecting with someone who has a need for your product and service and demonstrating how you can help them solve a problem they have in their life. And if you do a good job of that, that's good copywriting. You can both sell products and help your customers improve their lives. So it's a win-win for everyone, and that's how good copywriting should be.
Take us through the steps like to create a killer copywriting strategies, like from creating an offer, audience, etc.
Okay. So it definitely starts with the offer. If you don't get the offer right, then everything else is a waste of time. So you need to think about the kind of the product or service you're offering, who you're offering it to, what price you're going to offer it for, and how the pricing is structured, whether they pay everything up front, or it's a membership, or it's installment payments. All those things are really important. So you need to test those out and get your offer right, first of all. certainly identifying your audience is really, really important. And again, looking at things like Facebook ads now, we can target the right audience very specifically in a way that's never been possible before. So you can do amazing things with Facebook ads in particular. Some of the platforms are catching up, but Facebook is leading the way. And once you've done that, you really need to craft your message, and then it's a question of thinking about what keeps your prospects awake at night. What are they worrying about? What's the problem that they really want to solve? And once you've identified that, you can find a hook that will hone in and really connect with that problem they have, and build a headline that uses that hook to get them interested.
Give us an example, how to create a hook, like what is a hook and how to create a hook?
Yeah, okay, well it can be, sometimes it's intriguing their curiosity. Very often, on many of the native ad platforms now, you see headlines like weird tricks that cures baldness, something like that. And if you're someone who's suffering from hair loss and you read that, you're going to think, okay, what's the weird trick? Maybe that will work for me. Maybe that will be a shortcut that I want. So that kind of thing can work. I know that's a little bit kind of clickbaity, but what you're looking for something that's going to engage the interest of your of the potential buyer when they're scrolling through the Facebook feed or reading newspaper, whatever it is they're doing. You have to stop them in their tracks and get them interested. So you need to find something that's going to engage their attention. That's really the first thing, is just to engage their attention, and everything else follows from that.
Yeah.
Okay. So copywriting is really important, but most people skim through copy. They don't read very much. They'll read the headline and they'll look at the image. Image is really important, but then you want to have copy that's scannable. So things like bullet points and headings and subheadings, so that people can scan through and get the message.
With the headline, do we need a subheadline or not? It's not required.
It depends on where you're advertising. If possible, I like to use a subhead. Yeah. Again, because people scan, you want those simple summaries to focus, that you can hone in on. A subheadline helps you back up your headline. It kind of has a second layer that builds on that first promise. So yeah, subheadlines are really useful, and then further subheadlines in your copy, bullet points, and images in your copy if appropriate. All those things can really make a difference. And one of the most important things that perhaps people don't spend enough time on is gaining the trust. So that's usually the biggest obstacle, especially if you're selling online. People don't know who you are, they've never heard of you, and you're asking them to make a big step to get out their credit card and pay some money. So you need to demonstrate that you have authority and use testimonials and case studies to show that you can back up the promise that you're making.
Is there a certain number of testimonials to be used in the, let's say, a sales page?
Yeah, it's not a special number of testimonials. I would say the main thing is ideally looking for testimonials that show an outcome. Ideally, a kind of before or after. Before I bought this product, I was struggling to lose weight, but now I've lost 20 pounds in the last 30 days or something like that. So you really want to show how the product or service has made a difference in someone's life, rather than just saying, it's a great product, I love it. That doesn't really help you. You want something that demonstrates how it makes a difference. If you have testimonials that overcome some of the objections that your buyers are going to think about, then that's really helpful as well. So it's not about quantity of testimonials, it's more about quality and the purpose that each one has. Okay. So it's important to remember that people tend to buy for emotional reasons. So a lot of people, when they're writing copy, they tend to focus on features of their product. Let's say selling some kind of technical product, they'll focus on all the technical features. But even when buying those kind of products, people are thinking about what's the emotional benefit. So if it was some kind of MP3 player, they're not so much concerned about how many songs they can hold as the experience of listening on the play and how that's going to improve the quality of their life and what other people will think about the product they bought and things like that. So you really want to get across those emotional messages, but then back them up with the practical, logical benefits, because people often justify the purchase using logical reasons.
All right.
So, okay, so
what's the difference between like features and benefits?
Yeah, so a feature on it, and I'm trying to think was a good example.
The drill example.
A feature of a coffee blender. Sorry.
The drill.
Okay, let's take say a coffee blender. A feature might be that it blends any kind of coffee, or it has 3 speeds, or it's a compact size. All those things might be features, and the benefits of those might be make great coffee of different. Let your friends try different styles of coffee, or it fits into a small space. Those kind of things. So the benefit is how it's going to make a difference in your life, and that's what really people care about rather than the features.
We talk about also urgency. Why urgency is important in the copy or like in the sales page?
Yeah, it's just human nature that very often we'll procrastinate a decision. It's difficult sometimes to make the buying decision. Should we buy it now, or is it the right thing for me? And if we're not sure if it's the right choice to make, we will postpone it. But if you put some urgency into it, that there's only so many of a product available, or that the time is running out, that really has an effect on people. People really don't want to miss out on something. That it brings into play the factor of the fear of missing out, which is extremely powerful, which you see in
do you see
January
that, do you see the countdown, let's say, clocks working now, or like people already got used to it and consider it like as a fake urgency, or you prefer to use it in the copy?
Yeah, I prefer to have some kind of genuine urgency. So it's great if you have an event that's happening on a certain date, then tickets, obviously there's only so many tickets to be sold for that event, and once they've all gone, you can't buy them, and there's also the urgency of the date, so once the date is gone, you can't buy them either. So that works really well because it's genuine, and you have both scarcity and urgency. So unfortunately, you can't always do that. So I think some people, of course, are well aware that the countdown timers can be fake and they can get around it and reset it. But I would say at least 90% of the people are not aware of that. So it can still work. I don't think it's the ideal way to do it, but in certain situations it can be appropriate and it can work very well.
What about CLV? What is CLV? Maximizing CLV.
Okay. Yeah, customer lifetime value, it's important because it makes a big difference on how much you can afford to spend on advertising. So let's say you're selling a $100 product. If all you do is sell that $100 product and that's it, then that means you've got, assuming it's a digital product and most of that is profit, you've got about $95 maybe over after paying your payment processing fees, and you could afford to put half of that back into advertising. So you could afford to spend maybe $50 on advertising, but you certainly couldn't spend more than $90, or you'd be, at best breaking even. If you're going higher than that, you're losing money. But on the other hand, if you had your $100 product, but you also had an upsell, which was a $500 product, and maybe 30% of your buyers took that upsell as well, then your customer lifetime value has increased significantly. And maybe you'd also have a membership offer where they can become members of your membership site and pay you $50 a month. And doing those kinds of things, you might be able to double your customer lifetime value from $100 to $200, which means now that you could spend maybe $120 to acquire a customer and you're still making a profit. Whereas your competitor, who's only got the $100 product, can't compete with you. So you can win the ads auction every time. So it can make a huge difference to how you can market your product and the kind of reach and distribution you can have, and therefore the sales you generate.
Have you found any working, best performing marketing funnels, let's say now in 2019? What did shift? What's working?
Yeah, obviously it very much depends on what kind of product or service you're promoting, but generally I would say for ads, video is working extremely well. So if you're doing video in your ads, that gives you a real head start, because most advertisers are lazy, and creating video is a lot of work, or it seems like work. It doesn't have to be that difficult, but people tend to think it is. So they'll go for simple text-based ads, simple because it's just there, so much easier to do. Whereas, so if you're prepared to do the extra effort and make some video, then you might be able to halve your advertising costs or double your reach. So that can make a huge difference. I also think right now chatbots, they were big a couple of years ago, and now that they're not so much news, but they can be really effective, because especially if you're using Facebook ads where you know your customers are on Facebook, it's a really good way of connecting with those people and staying in touch. So it depends on your audience, but if you use the right tools and ideas, you can do very well.
You had a very successful campaign with Apple, and tell us why the lawyers have closed it down. If you have enjoyed today's episode, I would like to invite you to check out efficientpreneurclub.com. The Efficientpreneur Club is the right membership for you if you've been working to grow your business for a while now and things aren't happening as fast as you want. If you are tired of generic courses, secretive gurus, and expensive mentors who charge $2,000 to $5,000 a month, then fob you off onto sub-coaches or connect with you in group coaching calls. If you are already stressed out about your business model, sales, productivity, team, and systems. If you are scrambling in the evenings and on the weekends and you never have time for yourself and your family. Those problems are not going to fix themselves unless you fix them today. Why? Because your business profitability and performance are not going to change unless you do, and your relationships and health will continue to be affected. Building and scaling a business becomes so stressful over time, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Efficientpreneur Club is a private and affordable one-on-one business coaching club for business owners and entrepreneurs who want to build and scale their business profitability and performance with less time, effort, and cost, and without risking their freedom. The Efficientpreneur Club will help you take your business to the next level with a private and affordable individual coaching with me personally. I tailor the program to your unique needs. I will help you clarify your direction, set a strategic action plan, and guide you step by step to build and scale your business efficiently. The Efficientpreneur Club will also provide access to an extensive how-to video library, the most highly recommended tools, and a supportive community of like-minded business owners to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement, and advice. The Efficientpreneur Club is the perfect place to be if you want to maximize your profits, minimize your workload, and scale your freedom and efficiency. So check it out at efficientpreneurclub.com and say bye-bye to generic courses, secretive gurus, and expensive mentors.
Okay, this is actually a long time ago. This is back in the 90s when I was living in the UK. Apple decided to launch a direct mail catalogue for customers in the UK, and I did all the copywriting for that. And we did the first version of it was very successful. In fact, it was so successful they decided to expand, and 2 months later they did another catalogue, but this time in 3 different editions, one for consumers, one for business, and one for the education market. And the sales exploded. They did really, really well. But the big problem was, at that point, this is before Apple had any Apple stores, so in those days all their sales had been going through the dealer network. But when Apple launched its his catalogue, all of a sudden the catalogue sales were sucking all the sales out of the system, and the dealers were sitting in empty showrooms not selling any products because everyone was buying direct from Apple. So they hired some good lawyers, and they took Apple to court, and in the end Apple's lawyers said, okay, we're going to have to close this down because we don't want to have a big, long, complicated legal battle with our own dealers. So the compromise was that Apple agreed to close down the catalogue. So it was too successful. It was so successful that I had to close it down, which is the only time that's ever happened in my career.
Also, you've done like $1 million sales on ClickBank in one day. How did you do that?
Yeah, I should make it clear that we did $1 million sales, but my partners and I didn't make $1 million profit. Most of the money goes to affiliates. The way it works on ClickBank, all the sales are driven by affiliates who have big email lists. And to attract those affiliates, you have to pay a minimum of 75% commission. Most of them expect to have overrides, which means their commission goes up to maybe 80 or even 85%. So we did $1 million in sales, so we probably grossed maybe $150,000 ourselves, but the product as a whole did well over $1 million in 24 hours. So, and that's possible because on ClickBank there are these affiliates who have huge email lists of maybe 1 million plus subscribers, and if you get all of them to do a mailing at the same time, then the numbers can go crazy. And luckily ClickBank has the infrastructure to support a high volume of sales, so you can do it without your website going down and that kind of thing. So yeah, that was...
How do you see emails performing now?
Yeah, it still works. It still works. The open rates have been going down for a long time. That's no big surprise. So you do have to be a lot more careful now. You need to have a good relationship with your audience. You can't just spam them with marketing messages and buy my product, special offer today. That kind of thing doesn't work. You'll just get reported as spam, and then you'll find that the email providers like Gmail, they'll be sending your emails to spam, and so you won't say anything. So it's not about trying to sell things with email directly so much. It's more about building a relationship with prospects, and then every so often you can bring them back to your website and present them with an offer. But you have to create the value first. If you create the value first, then you can ask for the sale later.
What's the marketing strategies that worked for you the best? Let's say the top 3, the strategies that gave you the competitive edge.
Well, I think not so much strategy, but in terms of skill set, copywriting I think is the most valuable skill set. That really sets you apart from everybody else. If you know how to create great headlines, how to build an offer, and how to engage your audience, that's going to give you a huge advantage. So that's one thing. Secondly, I would say you need to keep up with tools. The internet's always changing. The kind of tools and services you have available to us are constantly changing, and if you're a little bit ahead of everybody else, you can get a real advantage by new tools before they become kind of overused. That can really help you. And thirdly, I would just say the main thing is to keep investing in your own training and knowledge so that you stay ahead of the game. Because there are a lot of new entrepreneurs coming in, and some of them are very sharp, so you have to make sure that you're sharper.
How can I become a copywriter? Like you've been a writer. How to shift from a writer to copywriter?
Yeah, so there is a huge difference between a writer, as in a journalist or a blogger, that kind of writer, and being a copywriter who sells products. If you want to be a copywriter, then that's a much more valuable skill. If you can use it to sell products and services, and people will pay you good money to write copy. There are many copywriters who make over $1 million a year. So there's certainly a great path you can go down. And the good thing is nowadays there is so much information out there. You can just start with YouTube. You can go to YouTube and just search copywriting courses, that kind of thing, and you'll find a wealth of information there. You can buy some great ebooks on Amazon, just buy the Kindle version of books, and for $10 you can get some of the great classic books on copywriting. And same with podcasts. Really, there's a wealth of information available today. You can learn an awful lot without spending very much money.
You've been like touring the entire world and running a virtual businesses. What did you learn from that?
Yeah, that's something that I've learned along the way. So I've been a digital nomad for 20 years now, since about 1999. And I started building a virtual team. In the 2000s, I started hiring freelancers on Upwork, or Elance as it was in those days. Around about 2009, 2010, I started hiring virtual assistants using job sites like onlinejobs.ph, and discovered you can get some fantastic workers at low cost compared to what you'd pay in kind of Western countries. And from there, that gives you the opportunity to build out a team who can do amazing things. And I found that if you get the right people, a virtual team can be a huge asset to your business. So I think it's definitely something worth focusing on and learning how to do well.
You like traveling. You didn't find it at a certain point it's like a job when you travel a lot. You're also creating a job of traveling around the world, or?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the thing remember is you don't have to travel. Sometimes people say to me, I'm not sure if I want to be a digital nomad, because I wouldn't like the idea of traveling all the time. Well, of course, traveling is not compulsory. It just means that if you have the digital nomad lifestyle, you have the freedom. For many people, that just means the freedom to give up their day job and to work from home, so they can pick up the kids from school, do the school run, that kind of thing. And they may never actually want to travel at all, apart from the odd vacation. Other people want to go out and see the world and travel to 100 countries. So either way, you can do it whichever way you want. So I'm based in Bangkok. I spend about half my time in Bangkok, from 2/3 of my time in Thailand, and the other 30-40% of the time I'm traveling around the world. So that works for me, but you can do it whichever way you want to, whatever suits you.
Your kids also got involved in the digital world. What do you focus on now in terms of, do you focus on copywriting, mentoring others, or creating products, with your kids or by yourself?
Okay, so it started with my oldest son, Ben. When he was about 15, he was interested in what I did to make money online. So I offered to show him how to do it himself, and I showed him how to put a product on ClickBank, and that went quite well. And he got the internet marketing bug and started building out a business, and he's been doing it ever since. So now he's a very successful ClickBank marketer. He's a platinum partner with ClickBank, and actually the two of us went to Cancun in Mexico last September to the ClickBank Platinum Summit, and that was a fantastic event where we met loads of amazing marketers, really interesting and informative. So we do those kinds of things together, and those kind of things I enjoy working with the family, and other members of my family are also getting involved in online business, so we've got quite a few things going on. But what's happened more recently is, as I've been traveling around and attending digital nomad conferences and events, people have been asking me, so how do you do this? How do you make this actually work? I'd love to do this, live this lifestyle, but I don't know how to do it. And about 10 people asked me if I offered coaching, and I always said no. And then after the 10th one, I suddenly thought to myself, well, there's obviously a demand for this, and maybe this is what I should be doing. So that's something I'm now doing, as I'm also working to coach and mentor people and to help them get started on their own online business journey and help them kind of quit their job and live a location-independent lifestyle.
And you still write copy?
Yes, I do. I certainly write copy for my own projects, and these projects I'm working on. My son Ben, I'm the copywriter on those projects, and sometimes I help other people as things arise. So I enjoy writing. I've been a copywriter for over 30 years, but I still enjoy the challenge of cracking a new project. So I think I'll be doing it for another 30 years.
What's your life and work routine like from the time you wake up until you sleep? Daily.
Yep. Okay, well, for me, I'm better in the morning, so I like to get up early. Usually get up around 6 a.m. I'm at my desk working by about 6:30, and then I'll work straight through until 1 p.m., maybe 2 p.m., and ideally I like to have my whole day's work done by about 1 p.m. So the afternoon, I have the option. I can work if I got some stuff I want to carry on with, or I can take the rest of the day off and do other things. So for me, I work hard for in the morning, and then in the afternoon I'm more laid back and relaxed about what I do.
Any other hobbies?
I do some running and swimming and cycling. I just did my first half marathon last November. Now I'm training up to do my first full marathon, so I'm not quite sure when that's going to be, but hopefully in the next year or so I'll be doing that. So try to keep fit and active, and living in Bangkok, there's always plenty of things to do here. I'm also involved in doing stand-up comedy, and I do some public speaking with Toastmasters. It's a great community here in Bangkok, lots of things to do, so it's always interesting.
Is there any software that you're using to to work more efficiently?
Okay, in terms of productivity, my favorite tool at the moment is Trello for project management. I think that's really nice. It gives you a simple visual way to keep track of what you're doing and what you're working on. Apart from that, I mostly use Google tools. I use Google Docs and Google Sheets a lot, Google Slides and Google Keep. So I'm very much in the Google ecosystem. That all works very well together. And then obviously other tools depends on which business I'm working on.
Top 3 books?
Top 3 books. Okay, well, I would recommend The Miracle Morning. If you really want to get the most out of your day, read The Miracle Morning. That'll tell you how to make a good start in the morning and get ahead on the day and get a lot more done. It really works for me, so I'd recommend that one. Also, The One Thing, which is about focusing on the most important thing you need to do each day. And I know that's something that I'm weak on myself. I'm easily distracted by other things that turn up in my email and so on. So I'm really trying hard to implement that good advice, but it's definitely the right way to do things. And finally, a good old-fashioned classic is How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's obviously about 100 years old, but the advice is just as valid today as it was 100 years ago. I definitely recommend anyone who hasn't read it to make the time to read it.
Good books. I read them all. Do you have any mentor who helped you the most in your journey?
In terms for a business mentor, the one that stands out is a fellow by the name of Brock that I signed up for his coaching mentoring program 10 years ago, and that's how I got into the physical products business. And he's a guy who started his own business with just $200. He only had $200 to his name, and he was able to do some successful advertising with a product and get that product off the ground. And now he's an investor. He's growing his business into a very large business, and he's has a kind of private equity company. He's a great example of how you can grow from nothing and build a very successful business. So I think having a good mentor is a really good investment for anyone. I've spent, I don't know, maybe $50,000 on mentors over the years, and every dollar was well spent. So I would advise anyone to get a good coach or a good mentor to get them started on the journey.
Last question, how people can contact you?
Okay, well, the best place at the moment is to go to privatelabelpro.co and just contact me through the contact form there.
Thank you so much, Rob, for your time. Really appreciate it. Appreciate the valuable information.
Okay, thanks. It was really great to be on the show, and I had a great time. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks, everyone, and see you soon with another leading expert. Thanks for watching or listening. It means the world to me if you would leave an honest review of the show on iTunes or any other podcast platform that you are listening through. And big thanks to all the people who have already reviewed the show.
Discover how to build and scale your business profitability and performance with less time, effort, and cost. Check out efficientpreneur.com.